Cougars Corner is dedicated to promoting the talented athletes and coaches of the SIUE Cougars. Cougars Corner will keep you up to date on everything Cougar Athletics has to offer and give you an insider's perspective into the lives and personalities of the stars that make Cougar Athletics shine. Welcome into Cougars Corner. I'm your host, Colin Surrey. Our guest today led the Cougars men's basketball team this year in scoring and rebounds and was second on the team in blocks and steals, earning him second All-Ohio Valley Conference honors. The senior leader got SIUE back into the OVC tournament for the first time in 3 years. He's the 11th all-time leading scorer in SIUE history with over 1,000 career points, and he is the 5th person in SIUE history with 1,000 points and over 500 rebounds. If you haven't guessed already, our guest today, Jalen Henry.
Hey, how you doing?
All right, Jalen. Doing great here on my end. How are you doing?
I'm doing pretty good.
All right, so we're just going to start off with a little background info, get to know what you did in high school and how you got into this amazing sport and excelled so much here at SIUE. So you went to Springfield Southeast High School. Tell us a little bit about your role on that team and the sports culture at Southeastern High School. Southeast.
The culture at Southeast it's really a basketball school, so that's the main reason why I went there in the first place. And their coaching staff really threw me into the fire because they really believed that I could be a Division I player in the long run. And my role in that whole team, starting off, I was just working my way through, but toward the end, I was really a role model for the younger guys because I was the only senior on my team my senior year. Everyone else was like sophomores and freshmen. So I was really a role model for them younger guys.
And it's interesting that you say that because you've almost stepped into a role that's extremely similar here at SIUE with you and Keenan Simmons being the only two seniors on the team. It's been a little bit of a growth process, especially on that front line. A lot of young players that you've kind of been grooming and taking under your wing.
Right, yeah, definitely. It's literally going from the same situation to the new one. And, me and Keenan, we tried our best to really show the new guys around and just show them how to get things done. And it was a great experience just being the leader for them.
All right. Did you play any other sports other than basketball in high school?
I played football for my freshman and sophomore year, but I stopped playing because I was a tight end and receiver, so we were more of a run-based team, so I didn't really get the ball that much, even though I was the tallest receiver in the entire conference. So I stopped playing that and pursued basketball.
Not that interested in blocking, huh?
Yeah, not really, no.
I don't blame you. There aren't many that are. Okay, so what was your recruiting process like at SIUE? Well, really the recruiting process in general, and then when did you know that the Cougars were the right fit for you?
SIUE was one of the first universities to offer me a scholarship, and I had several other offers like Northern Illinois, Indiana State, Rice University, Wright State, all kinds of in the main area. But I knew SIUE was the one when they really stuck through it all trying to recruit me. I have everyone else, they hit me up the most. They brought me for visits all the time, and it was close, but not too close to home. So it was almost like a perfect fit. So yeah, I knew they were the one.
And I can see why they were hitting you up so often. Just the incredible career you've had here at SIUE. But what was really kind of that moment when did you have like that turning moment where you were just like, okay, SIUE is the school that I want to go to. I've been getting some love from these other schools. Was there ever a specific moment?
I had a tournament in Maryville, Indiana, and I was playing, and I had a really good tournament, and I guess some other universities decided to drop off, and they accepted other guys that were like a little taller than me.
Okay.
But SIUE was still there for me, and they didn't drop their offer. They had confidence in me, and that moment at that tournament, that's why I knew SIUE was the one.
What was your favorite moment of high school basketball?
We have a city tournament where we have us, Southeast, Springfield High School, Lanphier, and Sacred Heart Griffin. We all come together for a city tournament where we all play each other, and whoever wins gets a big city trophy. And that was amazing experience in my high school because it was college atmosphere like every game, especially when we play our rivals Lanphier. It was basically like you're in college already. Student crowds, chanting, crowds, all like we would. I think a record set was for us against Lanphier at championship night was over like 10,000 people. So
wow,
yeah.
that's amazing.
So it was a lot of people. It was almost the entire city of Springfield. So it was pretty cool.
Very cool, very cool. So now switching gears over to SIUE, what's your major here at SIUE?
My major here is criminal justice.
Okay, and you plan to graduate at the end of this semester, or?
I have to do an internship in the summer and finish up like 2 classes, and then I'll be done in the summer.
Very nice, very nice. And has there been a favorite professor that you've had here at SIUE?
He's also my mentor. He's Dr. Cannon, and he's the head of the criminal justice department, and he's a pretty good guy.
Awesome stuff. And then I guess I've already kind of asked you this a little bit. Any academic aspirations after SIUE?
I'm in the future. I probably want to try to get a master's or something like that. But after school, I probably want to pursue the professional end.
Absolutely. So, are there any faculty that have really helped you outside of the classroom at SIUE? I know, at least for myself personally, I've had some excellent teachers in the classroom, but I would say the most valuable thing that I've gotten is the advice outside of the classroom and pertaining to my career. Anyone like that for you?
Yeah, definitely the athletic director, Dr. Hewitt. He, when I first got here, he gave me a speech that really set my mind of where I wanted to do later on down the field, and I want to thank him, and also I want to say, Joe Pott. I like Joe Pott. Really helped me out a lot of times. My freshman and sophomore year too, also.
A couple of guys that have done amazing things for me too. So a shout out to Joe Pott and Dr. Hewitt.
Yep,
excellent people here at SIUE, and it's really the reason, I think why SIUE can be a little more helpful compared to a bigger university. You get those real personal connections with faculty and staff that might be harder to bridge that gap at bigger schools.
Yeah.
So now we're going to move on to SIUE basketball, and rightfully so, as we've already mentioned all of your accomplishments with the program. What were your thoughts on this season and making the OVC tournament for the first time in 3 years?
My thoughts on the season, I mean, it could have went better, but I was glad to get back to the OVC tournament since my freshman year. That's the last time I barely played that. So it was really nice getting these guys and the coaches back to the OVC tournament, and I thought we played really good. Almost every game was tight, and I felt like we grew from last year because last year we were in tight games and lost some of them, and this year we grew from that and we won some of those games. So I think that this year was definitely a great step forward to where this program's going.
Well, that was something that Joe and I noticed real early on in the season was you guys really came through in the clutch. Any close game, it seemed like, especially early on in the season, you guys were pulling it out, and it was a group of, I wouldn't say older players, because only you and Keenan were the only seniors on the team, but yet that whole team just kind of played with that same demeanor that you and Keenan did and kept their cool in those big moments. So that was very impressive.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Okay, any nicknames to some of the teammates that are kind of funny, that kind of stick, or any stories about any of your teammates that you could share?
Any stories, any nicknames? No, I wouldn't say no nicknames and stuff like that, but a funny story, my freshman year when we went to the OVC tournament the first time, me and Keenan were roomed with seniors, and I guess the seniors decided to play a prank on us, and while we were sleeping, they would fill these giant trash cans up with ice water, and while we were sleeping, they would come up to our bed and dump it on us, and then run out. So I woke up to my whole bed soaked and freezing, so that was pretty funny. And just some fun memories of just on the bus. Bus rides there were always pretty cool, and yeah.
Of course, the camaraderie of sports, definitely the thing that I miss the most about it. Not playing anymore now here in college, but yeah, definitely some great stuff there. Let's talk a little bit about your development as a player over 4 years with the Cougars. It's really incredible to me the jump that you've made every single year and the improvements that you've made season after season, the different facets that you've added to your game. You didn't even attempt one three-pointer your freshman year.
Right.
In this year, I mean, everyone had to be glued on you on that three-point line because you were just making it rain all day.
Right, yeah, with that, when I first got here as a freshman, sophomore, I've been a 5 my entire life because I guess at high school I was at the wrong time period where my height were all bigs, but as soon as I graduated from high school, 6'8", 6'7", those are almost guards now.
Yep.
Like Jason Tatum
Yep.
and all them guys.
Exactly.
And they were barely behind me, but my time period, I was the tallest person in the conference, and I was forced to be a 5. And so when I came here, that's what they recruited me as. But I always was confident in my own jump shot, but I wasn't allowed to in certain time periods.
I see.
So I always worked on it with my dad, always shooting in the gym, always with him, and worked on it in secret while no one knew. And freshman, sophomore, I really didn't get to show that either. I was really a traditional 5 playing against 7-footers, so that was hard. But I always worked on it in secret. The game that you guys see now, freshman, sophomore year, they really saw when Coach Harrison got here, sophomore year, they didn't know either. They thought I was just a traditional 5-man who just rebound and post moves. But as soon as they came in for that summer, I started to show it by myself. They led me in the right direction of becoming a stretch 4, but really, I really worked on myself in the gym, putting that extra work in, trying to get to the position I am now. And, yeah.
Well, that's really interesting, the way that you described that. What do you attribute that work ethic to? Working outside of the court, none of your coaches know that you're working on this jump shot. No one else knows. You say your dad was a big helper in that development process.
I mean, my work ethic for that, basically, at first I was terrible coming into high school. For my freshman, sophomore year, I was pretty bad. I mean, but my coaches, my high school coaches really showed me how much potential I really had. They really put me into the fire, like I said earlier. By the fire, I mean they put me against. I had some pretty good teammates my freshman, sophomore year in high school, like the juniors, seniors, and we really got after it. They bullied me, pushed me around, showed me how to do it, and they before I never really got picked for like playing teams and stuff like that. Like there was AAU in like middle school and stuff like that. And
Yep.
I had some pretty good teammates then too. Larry Austin, he plays at Vanderbilt right now. Peyton Allen, he played at Texas A&M.
Okay.
I had Malik Turner, he's a wide receiver at Illinois. We all played on the same AAU team in middle school and younger, but I really wasn't that good then. I was rough.
Okay.
But then just playing with them and then not being able to play with them again, I really inside me, I wanted to be just as good as those guys. And I really started working on my game with my dad. And ever since then, that's still driving me to this day because I'm happy I went to SIU, but colleges said, other universities said I was too small. I was, they didn't see any potential in me. So I used that to really drive myself too, to go away from the 5 to a stretch 4 and 3.
Well, that's interesting as well, just because I think a lot of people, just in general in life, when they're met with rejection, they just kind of shut it down and walk the other way, just walk away from it. You met it head on. You were right there and ready. You said, okay, I know I'm not that good at these kind of things. I'm going to really improve my game, and I'm going to work on developing that aspect of my game, and I really respect that personally. So are there any what are kind of the roles and personalities of each of the assistants? We got Crump, Baroni, Bubba. Well, what do they all bring to the team in terms of personality and maybe even game plan type of things?
All great coach assistants, and Coach Bubba, he brings a playing experience, really good playing experience because he played NBA and played at the high level, and he really brings like what it was all about and what you have to do to really be successful. Coach Crump also brings that. He played at Purdue. And he also brings in good coaching experience with the guard standpoint because he'd been through it as well. And Coach Crump also brings in that young. They all bring in like a young. I don't know how to say it. Like they relate to us.
Yeah.
And Coach Bubba and Coach Crump especially. Coach Brown also, when he first got here, he was really energetic. He still is. He really gets everyone going. He's the motor we needed. We were missing a piece, and Coach Brown brought that motor to us, and I think that made a big difference this season.
Well, that's interesting that you say that about Baroni. He seems just cool as a cat anytime he comes over to do a halftime interview with us. But you're saying there's a little bit of a different side to him whenever he's in the locker room.
Oh, definitely. He's a totally different person. He's full of energy. He explodes. Like I remember one time in practice, we were doing a certain drill where Coach Harris would take the ball and he would roll it, and you had to go dive after it. You got to give your body up. And I guess one of our players didn't do it right, and Coach Brown said, no, hold on. And he said, I'm going to do it. And Coach Harris bounced the ball, and Coach Brown said, this is how you do it. And he dove all over the ball and slid across the floor, and everyone clapped it up and picked him up. But, man, yeah, Coach Brown, he's a character, man. He full of energy.
That's awesome. That's such a great story. All right, now on to Coach Harris. Any stories kind of like the one that you just shared with us, or just what do you enjoy about him as a coach?
I mean, Coach Harris I knew the day when he came for his interview to be our coach, I knew he was the one. I told Dr. Hewitt personally, I was like, yeah, we need him. Because he said some things that really registered with me and Keenan, that he was going to lead us in the right direction. And he's a coach that's unwavering. No matter what situation he faced, he's always the same. He's always positive, straightforward. And that's what I really like about Coach Harris. He definitely also, another thing, he wants, not just basketball, he wants us to become young men and successful outside the court. And that was a huge thing with us too. And just that he really believed in me. He told me right when he got here, he says, you should be a all-team player. And I didn't really believe him at first because obviously my freshman year I really didn't play at all. And he said that to me right away, and that's what I really like about Coach Harris. He believed in me the whole time.
And something that I really admire about Coach Harris that I noticed just watching some of the games is he's definitely not afraid to get upset when something happens in the moment. But the minute you guys head back to that huddle, it's like that's past him, and he's on to the next thing, and he's ready to address what needs to be addressed moving forward.
Yeah, definitely. Like I said, he doesn't let negative things affect him. He always is positive. Like, let's say we lose a tight game. We want to remember it, we want to push it behind us because we got to focus on the next game. So I like that about him a lot, too.
Absolutely. So what kind of mark do you hope to leave on this SIUE program now that you're a senior and graduating soon?
One mark I want to place is when you come in, don't get down on yourself. If it doesn't go your way, just work hard. Just get after it. I mean, if you don't play that much your freshman year, it's not the end of the world. There's no reason to transfer right away unless you're being mistreated or anything. But if you want to transfer because you're not playing right away, don't let that affect you. You need to push through because these coaches here, they know what they're doing. They just need everyone to buy in to what they're trying to do. And as you see this year, as soon as we bought into the stuff they were saying, we won games or should have won games. So that's one mark I want to leave on here. And also a mark I want to leave on is basically buy-in. Like I said, buy into the coaches. Just if you buy in, it's all going to work out.
Well, those are both extremely interesting points to me, just from the standpoint that we're kind of in an era now where everyone wants to transfer. It's not surprising to see schools that have 4 to 5 players transfer out of their school year in and year out. So that kind of mentality of stick to it and just work hard, it seems to have been kind of lost by some of these players, but especially just looking at the numbers and just watching the tape of your game evolve over these 4 years, I think you have definitely lived that, not only just preached it right here.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, my freshman sophomore year, if I really wanted to, I could have tried to find somewhere else. And I didn't think that was the case. I think that I need to finish my career here because I know myself that I can become even better. And I really pushed that. Transferring, if you have to transfer, if you're unhappy here or like you're just being mistreated or something like that, maybe that's the case. But if you're just basically complaining about not playing, there's something you're not doing right, and there's something you're not that good at yet. But you just gotta work at it, and as soon as you work at it, you'll see results.
Are there any players that you've kind of took under your wing specifically and helped throughout the season? I know I saw Billowette this past weekend, and he was telling me how much you two click and all the different things that you've taught him so far.
Definitely, Bill is definitely one of them. He joined us kind of late, but one player that I really wanted to take under my wing and show him the ropes because I see so much potential in him is Brandon Jackson. I feel like he has so much potential, more potential than I had my freshman year. He's way better than I was, and I feel like if I help him a little more, he can even surpass me. And another player I probably took under my wing would be Bill, Brandon, who else? Maybe just those two. All the guys are cool, but just those two I really brought under my wing, trying to show them the ropes.
Of course. Well, I mean, it's understandable just from the standpoint that you play the same position, you know.
I forgot one, DJ Jack. He's a freshman now. He is under my wing still. I'm still telling him what to do, telling him what he should do, how he should do it, and all that. So, yeah.
Absolutely. Very interesting. So, what's it like to know that other teams are coming into the game and their number one priority is to stop you, and then yet there are still games where you go out there and drop 35, like against Eastern Kentucky?
I mean, I've never been in this position before. Like, my high school, I really didn't score that much. I think I averaged like 10 points or something like that. And I was really inside threat, but I never was the main person to focus on the offensive threat. So this year and somewhat last year, it was kind of new for me. So this year I really accustomed to it. I accepted it. I knew that was going to happen. So I decided I could also get my other teammates involved too. But, I mean, it feels good some games. Some games is like a extra motivation. Like, you get pumped thinking about it. But, yeah, definitely, it was fun.
So what's going through your mind when you have a game like that EKU game and you score 35 points, but not only do you score the 35 points, we see guys go out there and score 35 points, take 25 to 30 shots and fill it up and maybe get a bunch of free throws, and that's kind of why their numbers get there. You put up 35 points on 13 of 18 shooting. What does that say about your type of game and the way that you try to go about scoring on the floor?
I mean, I try to take the most logical shots. Like, I don't want to go out there and just jack it up, like take Kobe type shots. I want to take the shots that come to me. I want to let the game come to me. And like that game, I wanted to produce for my teammates because the last two games I was out on injury and I really couldn't help them. And I feel like if I was in those last two games, we probably would have won those games. But I wanted to come out and really show my teammates that I'm here to help them. And I always don't want to take bad shots. Like, if I'm getting double teamed or something like that, I try to kick it out the best of my ability. But yeah, that game, the feeling was kind of like I went like blank in the head. It's hard to explain. Like, it was kind of unconscious almost. So, but no, I try to always take the most smart shots I can.
Okay, so everyone gets caught up in what you do offensively, and that's completely understandable, being the leading scorer, the leading rebounder, just the leader in so many different offensive categories for this team. I think you were the defensive leader on this squad as well. Tell us about the pride you take in competing on that defensive end of the floor.
I think me and Keenan, Keenan definitely was a major defensive threat. He blocked everything. But I tried to be a defensive threat because I'm undersized most of the games because I'm the 5 and I have to guard bigger guys, and I really try to just make sure they don't beat us. Like, I put it out my way and make sure this guy doesn't score that much. And I usually, Coach Harrison always tell me I can't block shots. I'm not that athletic, but I try to prove him wrong all the time. And still, I was 6th in the conference last year in block shots, and they still to this day say I can't block shots, but I definitely can. But yeah, I try to prove them guys wrong too, and just try to help my team out by preventing their big scoring.
I was going to say, that's no surprise to me, just learning your personality here and the way that you operate. You're never going to take no for an answer, and that's what it takes to be a top-level athlete at the top level of Division I athletics. Right. So very impressive there. You did a great job. We talked about this a little bit before, but staying even-keeled out on the court, and it just kind of rubs off on the entire team. There were times when, things weren't going right for you guys in the first half, and yet you're out there with that same stone face, out there trying to make every play that you can. Do you think that demeanor kind of rubbed off on your teammates at time, and it helped you guys out in those close games that we talked about?
Yeah, I think it definitely rubbed off on them because I remember when I was a freshman and sophomore, I was more of the emotional one. And I see my upperclassmen, they're all just straight face and trying to keep cool. And I really learned from that because when they did that, it rubbed off on me. And I feel like I learned from that. And I try to do my best in every game to do that for my other guys because I know they're young and they're really emotional like I was. And let's say we're down 10, 15, and we were just tied. They're getting upset, mad at each other. But I try my best when they look at me that I got that same cool collective face. And so that next half, they can calm down, and then we can play our game.
Is there a specific moment or maybe just an overall kind of legacy type of thing that you're going to be able to tell your kids or your grandkids down the road about your time here at SIUE?
Maybe just show them, like, if they're struggling in their sports or anything like that. I'll show them my stat lines. Like, they're not super impressive like Coach Wells' stat lines where he averaged like 30 points a game. But just how I progressed from my freshman year to my senior year. Like, just seeing, like, don't take no for an answer. Just, if you work hard and you are confident in your abilities, because that's what my game, I really base on, confidence. If I put the work in and I'm confident in myself, I can do anything. So, yeah, I would show them basically, like, just work hard and you're going to get somewhere.
All right, last but certainly not least, any professional basketball aspirations, and if not, what are you planning on doing after graduation?
Right now I'm in the process of picking an agent, so it's literally like picking a college all over again. So it's really tough. I got a couple options. I don't know who to pick yet, but yeah, I definitely plan on playing professional basketball at some level, either overseas or here. So whoever takes me, I'm fine. Whoever I play the most and get decent pay, but I definitely want to continue playing basketball, so I'm definitely trying to go overseas.
Well, I'm certainly happy to hear that. I'm sure everyone else is as well. And just thank you so much for the time here today, Jalen. It's been great just learning your personality, learning the way that you click, and it makes a whole lot of sense that you ended up being one of the greatest athletes in SIUE history. Thanks so much for the time, Jalen.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it.
All right, this has been Cougars Corner with Colin Surrey, our guest here today, Jalen Henry. That'll do it for us. Have a good day, everyone.